What's up, everybody? It's Mac from MacTheMovieguy.com, and I'm one of the 1,000 people who is going to do a video review of Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm going to try really quickly to just give you some thoughts because I really want to talk about this film, and I really want to talk about it in depth somewhat with spoilers. So really quickly, I just want to say I really enjoyed the film. As you can see, I like Spider-Man. I even have the Spider-Man films I didn't think were very good. I'm more of a completionist like that. I feel like if there's a trilogy, owning the first and second film and then not the third because I don't like it is a little weird for me. Or if I didn't like the second but I like the first and third, sometimes I want to sit down and watch the whole story, so I'll sit down and even watch the films I don't like. Like in Star Wars, I hated Attack of the Clones. I still have it because with the Star Wars prequel trilogy, I can watch one and I like 3. So in order for me to watch from 1 to 3 without it being weird, I guess I kind of have to watch 2. So, yeah. But Spider-Man Homecoming is probably the best Spider-Man film that we've seen to date. It is the third incarnation of Spider-Man, the third actor to play Spider-Man, the third universe set up for Spider-Man, and it is the 6th film solo-wise for Spider-Man, and we finally have reached the point where we have found writers and directors who understand who the character is, the world that he lives in, and have made a really fantastic film. I thought Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man. He gives a very different take. It didn't feel like Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire's takes on Spider-Man at all. It felt like a wholly original take, and that's what a lot of this film felt like. Was shockingly, 6 films in, it still felt wholly original. We didn't get the whole Uncle Ben story. We didn't get an origin story, but we still kind of got an origin story. I mean, this is still sort of the first time that we're seeing him, but he's not really exploring his powers so much. He's not really having this identity crisis so much. It's about him becoming Spider-Man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's Spider-Boy, kind of, and he aspires to be more than that. He aspires to be taken seriously and to be taken seriously as an adult. And that's what I like about this film, is it does something kind of different than the last 2 films did, because those films were about young adults. He's 15 in this film, and he's probably still going to be in high school, at least for the sequel, probably even the 3rd film, depending on how quickly they crank these things out. So I love that about him. I love that about the character. I love Michael Keaton as the Vulture in this film. I thought he was really great. He's a really well-written villain. I don't want to get too much into the backstory. I'm trying to do this little part quickly so then we can go into the backstory. But I love Michael Keaton in this film. I like that they use Tony Stark, but he's not like a huge centerpiece for the film. The film looks fantastic. It's very imaginative. The supporting cast does a really good job. Gives Zendaya a chance. First of all, she's not a huge focus in the movie. She's more of like a setup for sequels. So if you go into this film thinking Zendaya is gonna ruin your life, then you're missing out on a really great film, because she's very much a minor character in this film. I think if I had to list the 8 lead performances in this film, I don't think she'd make the top 8 for me. Some really great cameos. It was even nice to see Jon Faverau as Happy getting more to do in this film. Love it. It was I can't really find flaws with it. I've hit a lot of films for pacing because like the middle act slows down, but what this film did was, yes, it has a lot of slower, more character moments, but it always manages to sandwich those between exciting moments. So you're never really slowed down for too long. You never really come to a complete halt. You get like action, drama, action, drama, action, drama. You know, it's never just action, drama, 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 and then action at the end. It's not like that. It is very well made. It is very well told and paced. This is one of my favorite superhero films of all time. I can't say much more than that. Before this, Spider-Man 2 would have been my favorite Spider-Man film. This is my favorite Spider-Man film. Absolutely, positively go watch this. I had minor problems with both Guardians and Wonder Woman, but this film, I was thinking about it, and I really can't find problems with it. It never lagged for me. I was never bored. There isn't a performance that didn't work for me. There isn't a character that didn't work for me. There wasn't dialogue that I thought was bad. There really wasn't anything in this film that didn't work for me. Maybe if I saw it again, I'd be able to really nitpick it apart, but first time through, it was a blast. I loved it. I can agree that maybe this film won't be for everybody, that maybe there's a little bit too much high school in it, but I like character development, and I like it when it's well done and well written and well acted, and it's not brutally pulling down the story, and I didn't feel like that did that here. So yeah, I'm gonna give Spider-Man Homecoming an A. Straight up A. Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. So now you know what I gave Spider-Man Homecoming, and you got kind of a brief overview. So I want to talk about some spoilery things. And you can turn off the video now, but don't forget to subscribe. But you can turn off the video. Some people make two different videos. I don't really understand that. Like, you could choose the spoiler version or the non-spoiler version. I'm just going to tell you, now's the time. So one of the things that I thought was really cool about this film was I remember when they were talking about a new Spider-Man, there was a campaign to get Donald Glover to play Miles Morales. And it was a pretty successful campaign and had a lot of following to it. Not enough to get Donald Glover as Spider-Man. He's a little old. And they went a different route with it, which is cool. But I like how they used him in this. It was a nice nod to the fans. It was a nice, like, we heard you, and we don't hate you. We like you a lot. And here is Donald Glover as Aaron Davis. Aaron Davis is an actual Marvel character. He's not made up for the film. If you want to look him up and see his whole history as a superhero in the Marvel Universe, then you can do that. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Spider-Man uses him in that capacity as the franchise moves forward, whether or not he becomes sort of becomes an ally for Spider-Man. But what I thought was really interesting is that Aaron Davis, when he has a scene with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's interrogating him and trying to get some information out of him, and he says, yeah, my nephew lives in this neighborhood. I don't want him growing up with these guns on the street or whatever. And his nephew is Miles Morales. So mad points. It's one of the reasons I love this film so much is I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was just this huge tip of the hat. It was a tip of the hat to both the people who wanted Donald Glover in Spider-Man by putting him in Spider-Man, but those people wanted him as Miles Morales. So this is kind of the next best thing. He's Miles Morales' uncle. So it's really cool to see them sort of doing this for the fans, and that was neat. Michael Keaton's Vulture is, I think, God, he might be the best villain in a Marvel film since Loki. Marvel films have struggled for a long time to find villains who really deserve to be toe-to-toe with their counterparts, or that have a relatable story or anything. And the Vulture has such a relatable story and is used in such a good way that it blew me away. The film opens with Michael Keaton as the Vulture and shows you sort of this backstory of, he's a good guy, he's a construction worker, and he gets laid off by the city during the cleanup work of the events of the first Avengers movie. And they terminated his contract, and he had put in money and he bought more trucks and he'd hire more guys, and now all these guys are unemployed and nobody cared. So he kind of took matters into his own hands, and he started salvaging scrap and making these high-tech weapons from alien gear. And he himself becomes the Vulture, but he becomes a Vulture sort of sympathetically, because I think everybody sort of can agree from what happened at the beginning of the film that he did get a raw deal. And he does seem like a perfectly nice guy. And there are other scenes in this film where you can tell he's not really a bad guy. He's what happens when a normal guy is sort of pushed to the edge. He just makes the other decision instead of fighting to stay good. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. But he doesn't lose the goodness that's in him. He's a good bad guy. He's not like a terrible bad guy. He doesn't want to watch the world burn. He just wants to provide for his family, and he sees, the 1% as being selfish, and he has absolutely no problem taking from them. He's kind of like Robin Hood in that way. I thought it was an amazing choice for villain, and how to use sort of I don't really like Vulture in the comic book. I would say kind of a jokish villain, and actually reimagining him so that he's believable on film. Sort of like how, you see like Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2, and you're like, okay, how are they gonna do a man in a rhino suit and make him look, not silly? And I thought that was kind of a best case scenario for Rhino, even though it was kind of silly. I felt like this took the Vulture sort of to the next level, in that I could never have thought this was a best case scenario for the Vulture, but man, what they did with the character was just really brought it home for me. I loved the Pepper Potts cameo. I thought that was great, because a lot of people thought she was done with the Marvel Universe, and it was nice to see her come back and give her a little tip of the hat, like, no, I'm still here, just doing my other things. I'm an actress, so I do other films. But it was nice to see her in the film. Like I said, it was nice to see Jon Favreau expanded. The Captain America cameos are hilarious. The little home video thing that Peter Parker does is hilarious. I love the best friend, because he's so not like what we get normally with best friends, I think. I think a lot of times in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when we get a best friend, we get somebody who has a lot of potential to be a hero themselves, but I'm not really sure what kind of hero he would be. I think he's basically set up to be always a best friend and to just be a support system for Peter. I don't see him ever donning his own suit. I don't see a War Machine. I don't see a Falcon. I don't see a Bucky Barnes here. I see somebody who is never gonna be an action figure, So I like that. It's a change of pace for the film, and I like that he has sort of two love interests. One, it's sort of is to distract you from the other one. but one that's being set up more long term with Zendaya playing MJ. They throw you a loop by calling her Michelle, and then at the end of the film, she's like, "My friends call me MJ," and I was like, "Oh, so you are okay." I was questioning whether or not you were. I thought all the fans were upset about nothing, but that is you. You are the representation of MJ. You're just Michelle Jane Watson. It's weird. But the girl who played Liz was really cool. I like the different direction they went with Flash. Usually Flash is this jock asshole who like works out a lot and is a total douche. And this time he's like an intellectual rival to Peter, and I thought that was really cool. Played by Tony Revolori from the Grand Budapest Hotel. I thought it was interesting. I also noticed Abraham Atta from Beasts of No Nation was in this. I was like, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so Spider-Man Homecoming. Those are my little spoilery things that I just had to sort of get off my chest, I guess you could say. I'm really looking forward to the sequel, which may or may not have the Scorpion in it. I think that's probably what that neck tattoo was about in the first closing credits scene. Yeah. So, what did you think of Spider-Man Homecoming? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Do you think it's the best Spider-Man film? Do you think it's the second best Spider-Man film? Would you at least say it's better than Spider-Man 3? However you feel about the film, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe because I still need more subscribers. And that's it. I'm hoping to get out and see The Big Sick this weekend, so hopefully you'll get a review from me about that. But Spider-Man Homecoming was the only wide release, so bam, I got them all. So until next time, peace out.